Alright, so in this video, I'm going to take on the new Gunsmoke boss, Fortress Titan, and I'm going to use the fire team. And I'm going to show you how I go about getting the high score that I normally do with the fire team. I'm going to use this buff, Overwhelming Support, and I am actually going to use Centerisi, Sharkry, Papa Shaw, my Macchiato, and then I'm going to borrow my buddy's QJ that's a V5. So you guys know you want to use a support QJ. Blitzbeats is the one to borrow. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start this fight. I'm going to show you how I start with the setup I start up with. I have QJ here, Macchiato there, I have Sharkry here, Papa Shaw here. I'll move Senti right there, and off we go. Okay, so first things first, I always start with QJ and use her ultimate. She's at full Convectus Index, so that means she gets an extra support attack. I'll go ahead and move my Macchiato. And I put her in front of the fence instead of behind it, that way if she does, for whatever reason, gets hit, it's like my QJ is going to get hit, they don't get knockback from the knockback attack. Next, I'm going to use Centerisi, and I'm going to put her here, again, in front of the wall instead of behind it, in case she gets shot. The knockback, she won't be pushed back because she's in front of a wall, or in front of a cover. I'm going to use her skill 1, so there's some stability damage. And as you see, my Sharkry's now all the way up to full Convectus Index, so I'm going to put her here, seeing as this is the center of the boss is right here, and she's right next to it, right from the side of the boss. She will be considered the closest target. And its first attack here, Oppressor Shockwave, selects the nearest and furthest enemy targets. And I'm going to have her tank the first hit. Now, I'm going to double zoom. And then I'm going to use her basic attack. The reason being is I'm going to save her other two active skills later on when he doesn't have stability index, so I can do more damage. Okay, and then I'll just use my Papa Shaw's ultimate. And thanks to Centerisi, both my Sharkry and my Papa Shaw both got attack buffs before they attack. Okay, thanks to having Papa Shaw in the party, the boss has 2 stacks of aggressive protection, which means his defense is decreased by 30% per stack, or 60%. Again, I'll start with QJ, use her ultimate. And then I'm going to use Centerisi. I'm going to go ahead and move her here, because I'm going to move my Sharkry right in front of her, so I can have everyone close together other than Papa Shaw, which I'm just going to leave up there for the whole fight. I'll use her basic attack. I'll do that because it'll activate QJ's support attack and put QJ's her own version of defense down too. So now it's another reduction of 30% on his defense. Now I'm going to go ahead and do Papa Shaw because my Sharkry still doesn't have full Convectus Index. And he has no stability index, so I'm going to use Joint Breakthrough. now Sharkry has full Confectus Index, and as you can see, I can put her right in front of Centerisi. That way when she gets hit by a knockback attack, she won't go anywhere because Cinti is going to hold her, keep her from being knocked back. So I'm going to double zoom. Now I'm going to use her skill 1, and the reason why is because her skill 2 has a debuff called Flammable, and if you remember correctly, there is an attack the boss does. If he does not have 3 or more debuffs, he gains a buff where he receives 10% less damage. So I'm going to save that for when he's about to do it, which is going to be turns. It's going to be turn 3 for sure. It's going to be turn 3 and 6 when he uses it. So I'm just going to use her skill 1, and as you can see, no stability index, which means there's no reduction in the damage of this skill. Alright, and I believe that leaves Papa Shaw and... no, I already used Papa Shaw. Macchiato. And we'll just use Macchiato's skill 1. And here he's going to put down his summon. Okay, so I am going to... and it's also important to keep everyone close to the boss because he puts up a buff on himself called Reinforcement Armor, I believe, and when he summons his Fortress device, he transfers the stacks to it, but that last attack he did, if it hits, for every unit it hits, it removes one of the stacks before he applies it. As you can see, since I had 6 units and it had 7 stacks minus the 6 units, this Fortress device only has 1 hit before it's destroyed. So we'll go ahead and use QJ. Oh yeah, and of course that AoE, you got to be within 5 tiles from the center of the boss. So 1, 2, 3, so they're all good, and that's also kind of why I want to avoid knockback, so they don't get knocked out of range. I believe it would be around here, actually, when they would be out of the range of the AoE. We do use her ultimate. And then we're going to use Centerisi's basic attack because it doesn't require a certain amount of damage to destroy it. You just have to hit it, even if it's just 1 point of damage. So instead of wasting any good skills, I'll just use the basic attack with my weakest attacker, which is Centerisi. And because the boss counterattacks when you do attack the Fortress device, Macchiato intercepts and everyone support attacks with her. Okay, now I'm going to use, since Sharkry still doesn't have full Confectus Index, I'm going to go ahead and use Papa Shaw's basic attack. And I don't usually use her skill 1 when I'm in the fire team because that's an AoE, so it doesn't proc QJ's support attack. And as you can see, with basic attack it will. Okay, now Sharkry has full Confectus Index, and even though I said use her skills when the boss has no Confectus Index, I was mainly I want to use it for when he has the defense debuffs. So we're going to go ahead and double zoom. And I believe the other skill 2, I should be able to just about put him in stability collapse. And I believe Macchiato is my last one. And since, okay, this will put him in stability collapse. Okay, so we're going to use QJ first. The ultimate. Centurisi. Going to use her skill 1. Okay, now normally I wait till Charcute's at full Confectus Index, but since Macchiato is going to have her ultimate ready the next turn, I won't be able to get it up to full on the next turn. So what I'm going to do, since it's just the basic attack, I'm only going to zoom one time. That way she can get her full Confectus Index on the next turn, so I can use it with one of her active skills, which will be her skill 1. But this turn we're just going to use her basic attack, which is the only thing that's, since her other two are on cooldown anyways. Turn. Alright, we'll use Papa Shah's ultimate. And then we're going to use Macchiato's skill 1. And now he did the AoE, he's got the double stack, again, of aggressive protection, so 60% reduction in defense. And we'll have QJ use her ultimate. And I'm going to use, now even though Charcute's at full Confectus Index, I want to use Centurisi first so I can activate QJ support attack so she can apply defense down 2 on the boss, so it's another 30% reduction in defense. And now that he's got all this defense reduction, I'm going to double zoom. And then I'm going to use Charcute's skill 1. And it's just going to shred that stability index that he's got. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and put Macchiato's ultimate up. And then we will use Papa Shah's skill 1, not the joint breakthrough, because you're going to get more stability damage with her basic attack than her skill 2, and especially her skill 1, because you're not going to activate all the support attacks if you use your skill 1. So we'll just use her basic attack, and as you see all these action supports kicking off. And stability collapse. That means this whole turn 5 and all of my turn 6 I'll be able to take advantage of his reduction in defense. So first things first, ultimate QJ. Then I'll have Centurisi use her basic attack on the fortress device. Again, she'll attack it, the boss will counterattack and hit her. Well, I'll go to attack her, and then Macchiato will intercept, and then we're all just going to shoot back and forth at each other. But this will also have QJ apply the defense down 2 on the boss again. And now Charcute is at full Confectus Index, so double zoom. And then her skill 2, which also turns 6, so this is the attack here, this Omen Strike, that If he has fewer than 3 debuffs, he gets emergency defenses, which gives him a buff where he takes 10% less damage from all attacks, which we want to avoid that because we want to do more damage to him. And here we go. Okay, so since he doesn't have any stability index, we're going to use Joint Breakthrough, because even though it doesn't do as much stability damage, it does a lot of damage when there isn't any stability index. And then we'll just have Macchiato go. Alright. Sand Drill, QJ first. Century's second, using her skill 1. Sharkery's at full Confectus Index, so double zoom. And then the basic attacks, that's all I can do. And then we're going to use Papa Shaw. Ultimate. And then we're going to use Macchiato's skill 1. And as you can see, I got 35-30. And that is my strat on Fortress Titan with the Fire Team using Papa Shaw and Macchiato. I hope this helps you in any way. After all, the better you do, the better the platoon does. The higher our ranking, the better our rewards. Anyways, thanks for watching.